All right, what's up, you guys? So today we're going to be talking about productivity, how to get more done in less time without increasing stress. So if you've ever felt like, man, I got so many things I have to do, I've got so many hats that I have to wear, so many obligations and responsibilities, and it feels like, despite the fact that you're working really, really hard, sometimes, maybe even oftentimes, it seems like at the end of the day, like you just didn't get nearly as much done as it felt like the work that you did, right? So we're going to be talking today about three keys that you can begin to implement into your day that will help you get more done in less time with less stress. And again, this is Elite Performance Podcast with Dr. Brad. I'm Dr. Brad, performance coach for men, and I help high achieving men be able to win in their fitness, family life, and their faith so that you can level up in both work and life. So, the reason why this topic came up, I haven't talked a lot about productivity in a while, but I had a coaching call, I had a group coaching call with some clients the other day, and one client, one coaching client who's just coming on board, we were talking about how much he works, and he was saying one of his struggles right now is an average for him is he'll put in, anywhere between like 12 to 16 hours, more oftentimes toward that 16-hour mark every single day. And he's not getting a lot of sleep. And so that's now pouring into family time, that's pouring into fitness. Like things are getting edged out because he's just trying to work so hard. And some of that is now starting to come out on his business, meaning his ironically enough, despite the fact he's putting in so many hours, his business isn't as productive as he'd like it to be. And so I was like, you know what? This is a good time to revisit this idea because this is something that I've struggled with before, right? Trying to make things happen and all the different goals that I have in my life, right? Both in my professional life and my personal life. And sometimes feeling like you're working so hard, but you feel like not much is really getting done. And I've been there, done that. And so there's some things that I've implemented, some principles that if you can really understand and then apply the principle, it can have a dramatic impact on your life so that you can do just that, so that you can get more done in less time with less stress. So let's break this thing down. So we always talk about the challenge first, what our challenge is. And the challenge is, man, we have a lot of goals. We have a lot of goals. We have, again, and I'm going to say this, and you've heard me say this before. If you're listening to this podcast or if you're watching this on LinkedIn or YouTube, you are a high achieving individual and you're trying to level up in all these different areas, right? And so we do have a lot of goals. We have a lot of goals we have big goals when it comes to our business. Some of us have careers and we got a side business. Some of us got a business and we got a side business, right? We got multiple things that we're trying to juggle when it comes to our finances and trying to create wealth. We've got goals that we want to achieve in terms of impact on those around us. We've got, hopefully we've got marriage goals and relationship goals, and that we've got, goals that we want to do for our fitness. But oftentimes one of the things that we're really focusing on as we talk about productivity is our work, the work that we do on a daily basis that either generates income or a business that you're trying to get started or continue going. So yeah, we have a lot of goals. We wear a lot of hats. And we can't just focus on the work. We've got wives, children. Those children have obligations and responsibilities that become our obligations and responsibilities to get them there, prepare them. They got to eat. We got to eat. Like we have all these different hats that we have to wear as husband, father, business owner, leader, all these different things. And so oftentimes, and the struggle is, it seems like there's just not enough time in the day. Have you ever felt like, dude, there's just not enough time in the day? And it seems like every day feels like there's not enough time in the day. It's like, man, like I need a break. Or feeling like you've worked so hard throughout the day, and at the end of the day, you're tired, but it didn't seem like any of the work that you did helped move the needle much toward your overall goal of what you have for work. Like, I did all of this work, but I don't feel like I have a lot to show for it. Or maybe you've been working that hard for a while and feel like, yo, like I'm putting in work, man, but I'm just not really, the amount of work that I'm putting in uh is not consistent and congruent with the output that's coming out. You start feeling stressed. You start feeling overwhelmed. Start feeling like you just can't get ahead. Sometimes feeling defeated, feel like you're drowning. Listen, I've been there. I've been there. And even now it's something that I have to be consciously aware of and be very intentional about, to making sure that, I'm not like spilling back into some old habits that we'll talk about today, that will cause you to have more stress and be less productive. But yeah, man, listen, there's been a time in my life where, I had my medical practice, I had a home-based business. I'm trying to do both, and I'm really trying to push to make those things be very successful and achieve certain goals in each of those things. And in order to try to make that happen, I find myself working harder, working more hours, getting less sleep. The time that I have to spend with family, the time that I have that's designated for fitness, the time that I have that's dedicated for my faith starts getting edged out. And before I know it, I'm sitting here thinking like, I put all this time, effort in on business, it's not happening. And I've got some things breaking down when it comes to fitness, family life, and my faith. Right. And so the issue for many of us is that because we're so driven, because we want to achieve these goals, we think that the answer to being more productive and trying to get more done in our day, because we're looking at our business like, well, there are these tasks that need to get done. And in order for these tasks to get done, we think there's several things we need to do. We either need to work more hours, because like we said earlier, we feel like there's not enough time in the day. So we feel like, I need to work more hours, right? Or we feel like during those hours, we need to just really work harder, okay? Or we think, how can I make up, if we're thinking like, how can I get more hours? You're thinking, where can I get these hours from? And we will oftentimes rob our sleep hours. So we'll take from the sleep time and say, you know what, I can sleep less. Or, you know what, there's time with family that I want to do, but that's gotta go. Right. There's time that, is dedicated to my faith. It's gotta go because I got to get this stuff done. And we end up sacrificing these important areas of our lives, being your fitness, your health, your family time, which is your relationships, and your faith, which is what I've always described as a means to an end to getting your goals done. And this stuff goes out the window. And then before you know it, issues are popping up in those areas. Right. So, eventually, I can remember, man, and maybe you've experienced this if you're somebody who tries to be active. When I'm not active, it's like things hurt more. So I felt like I was getting back pain. I didn't feel healthy. I didn't feel like I had energy. Whenever I would stop working out. I didn't feel good, right? I didn't feel as good as I did whenever I did work out. And so like these issues started piling up. So like I'm not feeling good because I'm not sleeping as much. I'm not feeling good because I'm not eating right. I'm not feeling good because I'm not, working out. And then I kind of feel guilty because I'm not doing those stuff, kind of letting myself go. Now my mind is distracted from being able to do the work that I actually want to do because I don't have energy. I'm sluggish. I can't think and focus as much as I need to. And we don't think about the effect of trying to just work harder. We think working harder is the answer. right? But we don't think about the effect that it actually has on us when we're actually doing the work that we're trying to do more of. So now we're sluggish. I can't focus. I can't think as clear as I need to. Um, you know, now faith is out the window. I'm about as far from away from God as I possibly can. That's distracting. No, I don't want to spend time thinking about that, because then it makes me think I can't do that. So now I don't even want to think about the things that I'm not doing, because that makes me feel bad. But I'm not being able to spend some quiet time with God, not spending time with family. Now my wife's unhappy. My kids are starting to get used to me being away. And all of this ends up being pulls and distraction that doesn't allow you to be efficient. So part of the reason why we need more time is because we're not being efficient with the time that we have, because so much of that time has been lost to things that are important, that allows us to be our best selves when we actually do our work. So I'm here to tell you that the part of the answer, and in terms of the keys that I'm going to give you, the 3 keys that are going to allow you to have greater productivity without increasing stress, is that you got to shift the mindset to realize that if you're trying to be more productive and get more done in less time without increasing your stress, it's actually not going to be from working harder. It's going to be from working smarter, which means that we got to take time to think. So let me give you 3 keys that if you can understand these principles and start to implement them into your daily practice, you will start to experience being able to get more done in less time and with less stress. You will be able to experience more success and still be fulfilled in your personal life. Okay. First key to productivity is, and these all begin with S. First key to productivity is slowing down. Slow down. I cannot say this enough. If there is one key of all the 3 keys that I discussed today, it's this one. It's slowing down. And it's we talk about spending time or investing time. This is some of the best invested time that you can take, is slowing down daily. I was talking to a friend the other day. We were talking about the idea of a Sabbath. If you're a Christian and you listen to this, we talk about a Sabbath and taking a day off, to not work, right? Well, there shouldn't just be a weekly Sabbath. There needs to be a daily Sabbath of just slowing down and saying, you know what, this time is literally dedicated to just not working. This time is dedicated to slow down and spend some quiet time, to just slow down and think. I've often made the reference to us running so fast that we don't pick our heads up long enough to see if we're still running in the right direction. Slowing down allows us to say, hey, am I running in the right direction? Some of us don't want to slow down long enough to think if we are running in the wrong direction. We would almost rather continue to run, even if we're running in the wrong direction, just so we ain't got to to deal with the realization that I'm running in the wrong direction. We'll rather be busy than be intentional, and I get it. I've been there. You almost don't want to look up long enough to realize, like, dude, because if I realize I'm running in the wrong direction, it's not going to be good. I get it. But you got to slow down. Slowing down allows you time to think, because you can get so task oriented that you're not thinking about what task that you need to do, right? And over time, we end up, doing so much extra work that we haven't even realized that all this work that's been added on. We haven't stopped to realize and say, you know what, do I really need to be doing this task right now? Is this task as important as it was 3 months ago? Is this something I really need to be focusing on right now? Or is this something I can eliminate? Part of the way to accelerate your productivity is to eliminate things that you don't need to be doing and to get real clear on what is it that you want, which will then allow you to figure out what is it that you need to be working on. But these are questions you can't ask yourself if you don't stop, if you don't regularly have a daily Sabbath of stopping and slowing down. You'll start finding yourself working 12, 14, 16 hours as a regular basis and still not getting a whole lot done, not being able to hit your goals. One of the questions that you need to ask when you slow down, when you first do this, one of the questions that you must ask, and this is the question I asked my client the other night, was, why are you working so hard? I mean, like, why are you working so hard? Like, why is the drive there so much to work 16 hours a day? Listen, I can understand if you're in a position where maybe financially things are like really bad and you got to really try to hustle and grind to get out of that for maybe for a particular season, hopefully a short season, right? But if you have a decent business and and you're not about to get evicted out of your house like tomorrow, but it's just a matter of you may not be where you want to be in terms of your goals, you got to answer this question, like, why am I working so hard? Why are you working so hard? Here's something I'll tell you. As I asked that question to my client, his answer was, I think the reason why I work so hard is that I'm still trying to prove basically to his father and to himself that he can be successful, because in his past there was that his father believed that, you know what, if you don't do this type of work, if you keep doing this technical work and don't work with your hands and do construction, well, guess what? You'll never be successful at what you do. So he's been working so hard this entire time to prove to someone else and to himself that he's significant, that he can be successful. And listen, it's the same thing with me. I had a friend check me a while back, a couple years ago. He just asked me the question, I said, he asked me how I was doing. I was talking about different things that I had going on, but I sounded busy, but I also sounded, kind of negative. And he was like, what's the rush? And I came to the conclusion that my hustle, all of this hustle, was in an attempt to make me feel good about me. This hustle wasn't for my kids and trying to, it wasn't for my kids. It wasn't for my wife. It wasn't for anybody else but me. That I needed to make me feel good about me. And I needed wins. I need you to hear this. It's like I needed wins in order to validate me that I was significant, worthy, and successful. I needed to go prove it to me and maybe even to other people. And that if it wasn't happening, then I felt some kind of way about me. So we gotta stop long enough. And we gotta stop long enough to ask these questions. And these are very real things when it comes to us hustling, man. Most of us are hustling because we're trying to validate ourselves. We're trying to justify the work and say, you know what, if I work, if I succeed, and only if and when I do, then I will be important. Then that proves that I am successful, that I can do it, that I am important, that I'm validated. And I told my client, I said, dude, I get it. I've been there, done that. However, you can still work hard without working to try and validate. And so I gave this analogy. I mean, we are created in the image and likeness of God. I need you to hear me. We were created in the image and likeness of God, meaning we were created to create. because God creates. So yes, we go and we create things. We create businesses. We create products and services and great ideas. We create. That's part of our nature, is to want to create. But since we were made in the image and likeness of God, check this out. God didn't create so that he can prove to other people that he was God or to validate himself. He didn't create heaven and earth to validate himself. He created because he was God, because he knew who he was. He's like, I'm God, I create. I don't need to make the earth to prove to someone or to himself that he was God and could create. So because we're made in a similar image, we need to have the same thought processes. I create because I'm great, not once I create, then I will be great. No, I'm great, therefore I do create. And once you can embrace and understand that, sit down and spend some time with that, slow down and spend some time with that idea, you'll start to realize, like, and to be a little more aware of, am I doing this? Am I working so hard simply to try to validate who I am or to try to prove to me or someone who I am? Do I really believe I am who God says I am and that I'm literally just building because this is who I am and therefore that's what I do? Not, I do this, therefore I am once I do. No. You be first and then you do. God was God first, and so therefore he created. Same thing with us. Since we're made in his image, we're great, therefore we create. Ooh, that's a line that I need to just coin. We're great, therefore we create, right? So slow down and ask yourself that question, like, why am I working so hard? Ask yourself and then once you kind of tease that out, ask yourself, what do you really want? Do you really want life to be this way? You got to really stop and think, like, do I really want life to be this way? How do you want life to be? You want to spend time with your family and kids? Well, then we got to be intentional about that. You want to still be able to build your business and spend time with kids and still have fitness? It's possible. It's possible. You just got to open yourself up to the idea. It may not look like you, and you may not even know how it looks. All you gotta just realize is that it's possible and start asking the question, like, well, how can I still make this happen? How can I still be successful in my marriage and still run my business? How can I? A little more of an open mind frame instead of, oh, there's no way I can, succeed at a high level in my work and do great in life. No, you can have both. But part of it in terms of being productive, you got to slow down. You got to slow down. And some of this slow down time is time to think, like, what's the best next step in my business? What is the best next step in my business? What are the tasks that absolutely have to get done? What are the tasks that absolutely have to get done? Because the reality is this. I'm talking a little bit about this on the second key, but it kind of integrates in this key. Most of us, you give us 8 hours to do a 4-hour job, and we'll take 8 hours to do it. If you give us 3 weeks to do a 2-day job, we'll take 3 weeks. So oftentimes we're just using the time that we have, but we're not using it very wisely to be like, yes, there might be 10 tasks that need to be done, but what are the top 2 tasks that I really need to focus on that absolutely need to get done first in order to make the business or the work go? And if you don't stop and think about what that is, lack of productivity. Second key to productivity is scheduled time for the fitness, family time, and faith. Scheduled time. First one is slowing down. This one is scheduled time for the life, not the work, the life, the personal life. Scheduled time. That means, because here's what many of us don't, what we fail to understand is that we are a one whole body, and our lack of fitness affects our business. It affects our relationships. It even affects, to me, if you ask me, if it affects our health, I mean, our wealth. Because if I don't take care of myself, I'm probably going to be spending more money on trying to make up for all of the for all of the bad decisions I made for my health. So we have to continue. We can't neglect these things because we're trying to make our business grow. What many of us don't understand, what we can't, is that if we do these things, it will actually help our business. We don't realize that for some of us, it's the neglect of those things that's not allowing us to get to the next level in our career and our business. That was the case for me. I started putting intentional time toward my family. I started saying, you know what? I need to start spending like dedicated time with my kids, right? So I started carving out some time in my week to be like, this is like kid time. There's nothing else. I'm just focusing on me and the kids. Hey, this is me and the wife time. Hey, this is workout time. And this will be non-negotiable time. This will be non-negotiable time. You know what I started seeing? I started being more productive. Whenever I sat down to do my work, I had a clear mind. And here's what's crazy. Because I did that, that means, say I've got a full day and I've spent so much time with my kids and I've spent time working out. Well, that means that's less time to do work. Well, if that means I ordinarily had 10 hours to do work and now I've got 6 hours to do work, guess what? I found a way to get the 10-hour work done in 6 hours. You'll find a way. You will find a way. I joked with one of my clients. I said, if somebody put a gun in your head and said, hey, man, it's time to get the work done in an hour, I bet we find a way. So it's possible. Now, obviously, I'm being ridiculous in that. But the point that I'm making is that we can be more efficient when we sit down. One of the things that you can do, which is just a nice little hack, is when you sit down and say, okay, well, if I'm going to work for 2 hours, instead of just saying I'm going to work on my business for 2 hours, say in the next 2 hours, I will get blank done. In the next 2 hours, I will get some finite amount of work done. Well, then now if you're about an hour into your 2-hour work and you're not where you need to be, you kind of got to speed it up to get what you said you would get done in that amount of time. So every time you sit down to do work, say, I want to get this amount of stuff done during that time. Okay. But this has to be non-negotiable time toward the health, which will help your business. Non-negotiable time towards your faith. You got to understand, man, faith equals peace. Definition of faith is the confidence of things hoped for. Confidence means I'm not worried. I ain't got no worries. I got confidence in the thing hoped for that I'm working for. I got confidence in it. I'm not stressed. Stress is a killer, not only of your health, but of your business. So spend time toward the faith. It's going to make you a better business person. Okay. As we were on that coaching call the other night, one of my other clients and friend mentioned, he said, after a call we'd had about a year ago, he said he decided, when he thought about what he really wanted and what his ideal day would look like, it would be spending an hour in the morning with his wife and cook her breakfast. And he started then thinking, like, how in the world am I going to do this every day and fit this in? Well, he said once he started doing that, and I can't remember how much time it was, maybe it was a month or several weeks, but he said he started realizing that when he would spend that time every morning, as he became consistent with it, he started noticing that he became more productive in his business. He was getting more done. Isn't that crazy? Completely counterintuitive, right? Spend time with the family and my business gets better, because so much of that has to do with peace of mind. And that's investment of time. That's time investment to get a return of investment to be able to work on your business. When I spend intentional time with my wife, I'm sharing with her my hopes and dreams. She knows how important things are for me. I spend time with my kids, right? And quality time where I'm fully present. Now, when I have invested that time, they say, husband, dad, you go work. We got time with you. You go do your thing now, right? We got our cup filled by you. So you go work. I'm not necessarily worried about neglecting that stuff, and I can focus on what I have to do. But that, again, we are an integrated, wholesome human being. So the family time helps our business. The family time helps our fitness, right? The faith helps our business, helps our fitness, helps our relationships, helps our finances. None of this stuff can be neglected. Okay. Last key, I'm going to keep this brief. Last key to productivity is sleep. And this is one of the things I got to work on, you guys. I'm just be real with you. Like, I got to work on sleep. I really have to work on sleep. Sometimes I will sacrifice sleep. I just got to get up. I just have to, I just got to put in more work. And sometimes there are times when deadlines come and I will sacrifice some sleep. And I get that. But for the most part, what we need to do is we need to plan on getting, a good 7 or 8 hours of sleep. You feel better. There's a bunch of research right now on sleep and how much sleep affects health, how much sleep affects the ability to make decisions, right? These are things that we do every day when it comes to our business and our work. And so if you find yourself in a place where you're working a bunch of hours and you feel like you're not being productive and things are being neglected, and maybe you hear your wife saying, you know what, if you could just, I need time, or I need you to pick up the ball with the kids for a little bit. I guess a better way to put that is I need you just to take the kids off me for a bit. Whatever the case may be. Look, I used to get frustrated with that stuff, man. I'm gonna be real with you. Get frustrated, be like, I ain't got time to deal with the kids, man. I'm trying to run this business. I'm trying to do this stuff for y'all. Right? But real talk was I was doing it for me. And they needed that time. They wanted that time. And I couldn't see how that time at all would correlate to my business actually getting better. But there's some of you who's listening to this who I'm telling you, you're probably thinking, man, I've tried everything, but that's one thing you haven't tried. Start putting scheduled time. Slow down, number one. Slow down. Matter of fact, schedule that slow down time. For me, it's in the morning every single day. Talk to a friend of mine. He spends 2 hours in the morning every single day, between 4 and 6 in the morning. I'm not there. I don't do that, right? I've got an hour set every single day. But even if it's not an hour, start with something to just slow down and start thinking about your life, what you want, some of these critical questions, and what the next steps are for your business. Next step is schedule time. Schedule some non-negotiable time for the fitness, for the family time, for the faith. Start small. Doesn't have to be something drastic or big. Not asking you to start working out 2 hours a day. Start doing something. And then make sure you get enough sleep. My ask of you is that you focus on one of these. And if I were you, focus on anything, man, it'd be slow down time. It'd just be that slow down time. And I always talk about that slow down time. So, 3 things: prayer, pondering the word, and personal development, which is what I like to describe as self-talk, just saying the right things you got to say to yourself. Spend that slow down time, man. And I want you to imagine what it would look like. Seriously. Real talk. I want you to imagine what it would look like to take a 10, 12, 16-hour day down to a 10-hour day and still be able to spend some time with the wife, still be able to spend some time with the family, and still get some sleep. Or maybe even less than that. And be able to enjoy a life that you feel confident about who you are, why you're building, why you're creating these things, be able to get productive at the tasks that you have to do in order to create it, while still being able to spend some very important time for the life things that have to keep going. I want you to imagine what that would be like. I want you to imagine the level of peace and productivity that you could have. And I'm here to tell you it's possible. But you have to slow down, schedule some of that time, non-negotiable time, and prioritize sleep. All right, fellas, listen, I'm out. As always, make sure you share this episode with a friend. Make sure you apply the information on this episode towards your transformation in your health, wealth, and relationships. Again, this is Dr. Brad on Elite Performance Podcast, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.